My wife swears she's in bed with me, but I can hear her laughing downstairs. The first time I saw the other Amara, I blamed the house. It was one of those sprawling, half-forgotten colonials with too many rooms and floors that groaned like a dying man. We'd sunk everything we had into it. A new start, Amara called it. But from the first night, the silence in that place felt loud, heavy. It pressed in on you. We'd been unpacking for a week. A mountain range of cardboard boxes filled the living room. I was wrestling with a flat-pack bookshelf when I saw her walk past the doorway and head toward the master bedroom. "Hey babe," I called out. "Can you grab my tape measure from the nightstand?" "Nothing. Amara?" I grunted, dropping a heavy shelf. I walked down the hall and into our bedroom. It was empty. The air was still and cold. I checked the ensuite, the walk-in closet. Nobody. The window was locked from the inside. A knot of irritation tightened in my gut. I walked back out, ready to call her name again, and nearly jumped out of my skin. There she was, in the kitchen, right where I'd left her 10 minutes ago. She had her earbuds in, humming softly as she lined our new plates in the cupboard. She hadn't moved. She couldn't have. I pulled one of her earbuds out. "Didn't you hear me? I just saw you walk into the bedroom." She gave me that look, the one that says, "You're being an idiot, but I love you." "What?" "No, I've been right here, Sol. Trying to make sense of this goddamn cabinet space." She gestured with a salad plate. "Been here the whole time." I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the house's ancient AC. I saw what I saw, but she was so calm, so sure. I shook my head and told myself I was just tired. Too much stress, too many boxes. That was my first mistake. Letting it slide. A few weeks later, the smell of burning sugar woke me up. My clock glowed 3:04 a.m. A sickly, sweet, cloying scent was drifting up the stairs. I slipped out of bed, leaving Amara sleeping soundly, and crept downstairs. And there she was. A figure that looked exactly like my wife, standing at the stove in the pale moonlight filtering through the kitchen window. She was wearing Amara's silk robe. Her back was to me. A pan sizzled quietly. "Amara? What the hell are you doing?" I whispered. She didn't turn. She just kept her focus on the pan. She was cooking a single, perfect pancake, using a pair of tweezers to meticulously place blueberries on its surface. Not randomly, but in a tight, clockwise spiral. Her movements were stiff, unnatural. "Babe, talk to me. It's the middle of the night." Her voice, when it came, was flat, empty. It has to be right. For the guest. What guest? My heart was hammering against my ribs. Something was deeply, horribly wrong. I backed away slowly. I'm just gonna go get my phone. An excuse. I just needed to get out of that room. I bolted up the stairs, my feet silent on the carpet. I burst into our bedroom, my hand already reaching for Amara to wake her, to tell her there was an intruder downstairs who looked just like her, and my hand met warm skin. Amara was in our bed. She stirred, mumbling in her sleep. I froze, unable to breathe. I flew back downstairs. The kitchen was dark. The stove was cold to the touch. The pan, the pancake, the tweezers, all gone. The smell of burnt sugar was just a ghost in the air. I woke her up then, shaking her, my voice trembling. I told her everything. She sat up, her face a mask of anger and exhaustion. "Are you serious, Sol? A nightmare? You're acting crazy. Who even eats pancakes in the middle of the night?" She looked at me, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of something other than love in her eyes. It looked like fear, or maybe pity. "Get some sleep. You're scaring me. Get some sleep. You're scaring me." But every shadow in that house now had her shape. A week passed in a tense quiet. Amara went to work her late shift at the hospital, 4 to midnight. The silence of the house was deafening. I couldn't stand it. I drove to a little coffee shop we used to go to before we bought the house, just to be around people. I was nursing a lukewarm coffee when I saw her. Amara, sitting at a table by the window, smiling at me. She waved me over. My mind reeled. She was supposed to be at work. "I couldn't stop thinking about our fight," she said, her voice soft and apologetic. She looked tired, but it was her. Same freckle by her left eye, same way she tucked her hair behind her ear. I told them I had a migraine and came to find you. I'm sorry I snapped at you. Relief washed over me so intensely, I felt weak. Of course, she was stressed too. It was all a misunderstanding. We talked for an hour. It felt normal. It felt normal. It felt normal. It like us. She laughed, and the sound filled up all the hollow spaces inside me. Then she excused herself to use the restroom. I waited. I scrolled through my phone. 5 minutes passed. 10. A text message notification popped up on my screen. It was from Amara. Work is a nightmare. Some asshole coded on my watch. Can't wait to get home and see you. XX. I read it 3 times. The timestamp was from 30 seconds ago. My blood turned to ice water. I looked toward the restrooms. The empty table. The half-empty cup of tea she'd been drinking. She was gone. She was never there. I ran out of that coffee shop and didn't stop until I was home, triple locking the door behind me. When the real Amara got home after midnight, I didn't say a word. How could I? She'd think I was insane. She'd leave me. The thought was more terrifying than any ghost. The next day, I found a small, gift-wrapped box on my pillow. Inside was a silver picture frame. It was a photo of us from our wedding day. I was smiling, she was laughing. It was the happiest day of my life. But someone had taken a black marker and violently scribbled over my eyes in the picture. Tucked behind it was a note, written in her elegant cursive. So you never forget who you belong to. I felt the floor drop out from under me. When Amara came home, I held it out to her, my hand shaking. What is this? Is this some kind of sick joke? She just stared at it. I have no idea, Sol. I've never seen this before in my life. Where did you get that? I snatched it back and turned it over to show her the note. But the frame was empty. The photo, the note, both were gone. There was nothing but a dusty cardboard backing. Amara just shook her head, her eyes welling with tears. I can't do this anymore. I think you need help. That night, I woke up to laughter. A low, guttural giggle coming from downstairs. It sounded like Amara, but twisted, warped. I grabbed the heaviest thing I could find, a mag light from my nightstand, and crept down. She was in the kitchen again, standing in the dark, her back to me. She was wearing Amara's favorite yellow nightgown. Turn around, I said, my voice barely a whisper. She giggled again. You're cheating on me, Sol, with her. The boring one. What are you talking about? Turn the fuck around. She doesn't love you like I do, the voice cooed. It was Amara's voice, but it was layered, like 2 people speaking at once. She's so bland. I can give you everything you want. She turned. It was Amara's face, but it was all wrong. Her eyes were too wide, perfectly black, with no whites at all. Her smile was stretched impossibly far, a rictus of gleaming white teeth. A thick, dark liquid, like blood or tar, dripped from the corner of her mouth onto the clean yellow fabric of the nightgown. I will kill her, the thing snarled, its voice dropping into a demonic register. Then it will be just us, I screamed. A raw animal sound of pure terror. I scrambled backwards, fell, and crab walked away before finding my feet and thundering up the stairs. The real Amara shot up in bed, her eyes wide with alarm. Sol, what is it? What's wrong? It's downstairs, I choked out, pointing. It looks like you. It wants to kill you. Oh God, not this again, she sobbed, burying her face in her hands. I'm done. If this happens one more time, I swear to God, I am leaving this house. Proof. I needed proof. The next day, I bought 4 security cameras and set them up all over the ground floor. I linked them to an app on my phone. Amara watched me do it with a look of profound sadness. That night, we lay in bed, backs to each other. I couldn't sleep. I just watched the 4-way split on my phone screen. The empty living room, the dark kitchen, the hallway. Midnight came and went. 1, 2, 3. At 3:33 a.m., a shape emerged from the shadows in the living room. It was her. The copy. It didn't move. It didn't cook or laugh. It just stood in the center of the room, perfectly still and stared directly into the camera lens. For an hour, it didn't even blink. Then, slowly, it raised one hand and waved. A sick, intimate little gesture, just for me. "Amara, wake up," I hissed, shaking her shoulder. Look at the phone. It's there, right now." She grumbled, rubbing her eyes and taking the phone from my hand. She squinted at the screen. "Sol, there's nothing there. The living room is empty. What are you trying to do to me?" I snatched the phone back, and my heart stopped. She was right. The living room on my screen was empty. The figure was gone. I checked the event log. The recording for the last hour was just gone. Wiped. Replaced with a corrupted file. That was the end. She packed a bag the next morning, her face pale and her hands trembling. "I love you, Sol, but I can't live with a ghost. Whether it's in this house or in your head, I can't do it." I begged her not to go. I pleaded. But she walked out the door, and the silence that settled in her place was the loudest thing I had ever heard. I spent the next 2 days in a bottle of whiskey. The sightings stopped. The house was just a house again. Quiet. Empty. It was then, in a moment of drunken clarity, that I remembered a warning from her ex, a guy named Kian, from before we even got married. Something about her having a shadows. I'd laughed it off. I found his number and called, my fingers fumbling on the screen. He picked up on the third ring. "Hello, Kian? It's Solomon. Amara's, well, her husband." There was a long pause. When he spoke again, his voice was a strained whisper. "Oh, God. Don't tell me. You're seeing it too, aren't you?" "The copy." The word sent a jolt through me. "Yes. How did you know? She just left me." "That's good," he said, his voice frantic. "That's the only way. When she's gone, it can't. Oh, no." I heard a door slam in the background on his end. He wasn't talking to me anymore. "No, please, not again, Kian. What's wrong? What's happening?" A scream. A wet, choking sound. The line went dead. My phone rang again almost immediately. The same number, Kian's number. I answered, my whole body shaking. It was her voice. That layered, demonic echo that had filled my kitchen. Kian was such a disappointment, it sang. He was no fun at all. But you and me, Sol, were going to be so happy together. Forever. The line clicked dead. I smashed the phone with a hammer. I packed a single bag and drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove until the sun came up. I'm in a motel now, hundreds of miles from that house. It's been 3 days. I haven't slept. Every time I close my eyes, I see that stretched, bloody smile. Sometimes, when the room is dark, I catch my reflection in the blank TV screen. And just for a second, I see a figure standing behind me. A woman who looks just like my wife, her black eyes wide and her hand raised, ready to wave. I left the house. But I don't think the house, or what was in it, ever left me.